All right, hey folks, we're going to do some game design tonight, so give me a few minutes here. I'm going to make sure everything is up to date. I'm going to have my link out to alert folks that we're live. Normally this is stuff that happens while people do like a downtime, like a live. Normally this is stuff that happens. That is loud. All right, let's bring that down like 5 notches. Holy Hannah, how did that get so loud? All right, well, that seems tolerable now. Normally, people have like a countdown timer and some sort of snazzy song playing while you wait for the stream to start. But I am not that sophisticated. So hold on, that was the wrong button. Let's do that. I gotta grab the link here and put up there. Waiting for these things to fill in. But it. Cool. Yeah, so normally there'd be like songs and stuff and, you know, countdown like 2 minutes down and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just not that sophisticated. So I just kind of yammer at you guys while I do stuff here. And so I'll just intro myself. If you already know all this stuff because you're familiar with the channel already, you can skip ahead 2 minutes, but you already know that. So, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online, and I have been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition since 2018. I've been a DM playing pretty much every version of D&D there's been since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. And like I said, I've been publishing stuff on DMsGuild since 2018, and this is still very loud. Maybe I can just bring my overall volume down a snig. And all right, so if anyone dives in with me live today, let me know if this volume is good, and I'll check it. It sounds like it's probably going to be fine. So let's see. That's clear. That's clear. That's clear. That's clear. And okay, I've gotten all my allegation stuff taken care of. If you find today fun, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. And here's a bunch of books I've already published on DMsGuild. If you came in here through social media and saw the picture, that came out of the 3rd volume of the Theros Odyssey Anthology. It's a series of different islands with an adventure on each island that you can then combine and pair together. So this leads you to a bundle that has all 3 volumes, total of 30 island adventures, and then a sample guide for how to string together multiple islands across, I think it's across 20 levels. So you can make a campaign out of all these different islands, chaining them together with a storyline. So check that out. Super fun. Spelljammer. Love this book. I'm very proud that Point Warlocks is gold now. The Magic the Gathering, magic system, color mana, spell point variant rules. The core mechanics just went gold as well. So thanks a lot for all your support, guys. I really appreciate you folks taking an interest in the stuff that I do. And hopefully what we're working on today will be something that's similarly inspiring to your D20 games, which is the Bastion campaign system. So the playtest document, if you click here, I can still hear myself. I need to get this volume dropped. Hold on. Let's see if I can pull this down a little bit more. There, hopefully that'll be okay. Let's see. Okay, so Bastion Campaigns. Here we go. This is a read-only document for you, but you can read the entire document. This is the work-in-progress design space that we're building the concepts and mechanics for how a ability check Bastion campaign system would work. Ability check, the Bastion campaign, the DMG, is a social interaction where your characters basically create a house and populate it with NPCs that they can name and do whatever they want with. But there's no real die rolls of success or failure that's involved with it. And I can still hear myself, so I'm going to pull the volume down just a little bit lower still and see if that does better. That sounds more serviceable there. That should be good. Yeah, if I'm silent, I can hear myself, but I can't hear myself while I'm talking over myself, so that should be okay. You know what? Actually, I'm going to turn this down just another hair like this down to, let's take it all the way down to here. And yeah, that sounds pretty good. Okay, so Bastion campaign, yeah. So what we do is we can convert it into whenever you're doing something through your Bastion, creating something, researching something, gathering some sort of materials or whatever it is that you're doing, it becomes an ability check performed by your Bastion to complete the task. If they pass the die roll, then they perform the task. The order that they carry out the order that was issued without complication is the technical term. And if they fail the die roll, then a complication occurs. And we spent last episode looking at potential Bastion events that help sculpt what those complications could be. Each week or each Bastion turn, which is by default a week, you make a Bastion event check that that basically forms the framework about some sort of event, like an unexpected monster arrives at your door, and that then becomes the frame around. If you have any complications, you can use that as your hinge. Like, so if you have like a crafting complication, you're trying to build something and it doesn't work, and then the result that you roll is that maybe like your facilities are damaged and you can't use them until they're repaired, so you have to issue an additional order to have them repaired, delaying your project's production. And if you have a monster that's unexpectedly visiting you during that turn, you're trying to do this crafting thing and this monster crashes through your workshop. And so that becomes your adventure seed. And it's like, this monster just crashed through our workshop. If it's just one and done, yeah, let's just poach it and go. Then you just make the Bastion checks, it processes the complication, and then you just continue on. But if you want to make an adventure out of it, then you just modify, like that monster that's crashing into your facility, you add more to it so that it becomes a plot hook for your characters to follow. So, and then that's what you adventure for the week. And then at the end of the week, you have the team comes back to the Bastion and is living life is great, and then the next week occurs, and then the next event occurs, and whatever that next event is, any failures or successes that the team has is framed around what that event is. And by that means, you can randomly generate a progressively generated campaign through events and complications inside of your Bastion, that your character's role in the campaign is to respond to those complications as fixers or as the leaders of the Bastion. So that's the framework of the campaign. The way that all this, we're like up to a 60-page document now. Probably 10 of those aren't necessary, so probably a 50-page book. But and then we have illustrations and stuff, so it'll probably end up being like 75 pages, which is the same size as the core mechanics spellbook Color Mana spellbook that I have linked down below for MTG. You can check that out for heft if you want. So right now, what we're working on this week is issuing orders from the DMG and the Bastion section of the book. There are gaining Bastion facilities, special facilities, Bastion turns. Where are you at? Let's see. Issuing order. I want issuing orders. Orders. There we go. There's 7 orders in the game. Crafting and power. Crafting is creating non-magical stuff. Empower is creating magical items or blessing or otherwise imbuing your character with abilities they may not otherwise have, like boons or whatever. Harvest is to gather materials, whether it's animal, mineral, or plant. Maintain action is either defenses for your Bastion, like actively defending and patrolling to safeguard it. It also is maintain is also for sustaining establishing a degree, a level of lifestyle for your characters and all of the hirelings inside of the Bastion, and that lifestyle die roll represents how efficiently your Bastion is able to provide services and do whatever it does to be productive. So if you roll really high, then your Bastion is very profitable. For the most part, it doesn't have very deep mechanics right now. As it sits right now, it's just a way to be able to frame how your Bastion is living, and provides a little bit of a risk that if you sink below a poor style lifestyle consecutive for 3 rolls, it's like a death saving throw where it will bankrupt your Bastion and you'll degrade, you'll lose ranks off of your Bastion. So it's a low risk, but we're thinking about and then the result of the die roll is basically like you're operating with a profit, you're operating at a loss. So the current idea is that, sorry, I'll finish the list. We'll talk about maintain when we get to it. Recruiting is bringing in creatures and NPCs to either act as specialists inside of your bastion or to become sidekicks or hirelings for your adventures. Research is to gather information that you don't currently have, whether it's by exploring arcane libraries and tomes to discover forgotten facts and very ancient information, or like a spy network gathering current information, things that are actually happening right now. Now, those are both research based. And then there's trade, which is like you can basically use trade as to gather material if you don't want to harvest them, or to acquire magic items if you don't want to create them, or to create non-magical items, or to acquire non-magical items if you don't want to create them. So it basically you can have an efficient, if you have your bastion focused on trade instead of production, then you have less things that you need to worry about, but it also limits what kind of things. Like if you don't care about making magic items or stuff, and you just want to be able to provide your characters with equipment as you need without having to worry about the complications and, pardon the pun, of creating stuff, then you can just trade for it. It's arguably no more difficult. It takes longer potentially, but it's no more difficult than crafting stuff. I'm rolling up my sleeves to get to work here. So it's just a matter of how do you want to produce things. So you have to have the empower order to make magic items. You have to have the craft order to create things like ships or siege weapons or lots of weapons to supply an army. You need harvest to gather materials that are used to craft and empower items. And then there's trade, which can get you all those things just differently. So it's technically more efficient to trade for it. But that's a good point. It is more efficient. Like, why wouldn't you just trade? Well, because you got to spend your points on something, and it may as well be crafting and empowering. Well, yeah, I mean, but if you really just want to get efficient at stuff, that's the thing. That's what I think. That's what it should be. Trade should damage your lifestyle. You can bankrupt yourself in trade. But if you craft things on your own, you can always afford it. You have to be a certain level. To be able to craft an item, you have to be able to sustain a certain lifestyle. I like that a lot. That way it becomes important. Now that lifestyle indicates how much excess currency you have. So if you're like, that's a really good point. Let's actually get into the work here, because this is getting exciting. I like where this is going. So we're going to be picking around, and basically what we're trying to do is codify and simplify orders in general. But I want to. It's trade that has to worry about commerce. If we fail, okay, so yeah, if we succeed or fail, it doesn't matter either way. Trade degrades your lifestyle. So if I don't have, so there's, let's go look at it. We have maintain down here. I'm gonna just fetch that. We'll create order out of this. That's our goal today. So going to the maintain order, this makes things make so much sense. Okay, so if you roll below, there's 5 degrees that are serviceable. There's poor, modest, comfortable, wealthy, or aristocratic. And then there's 5 ranks of magic items: common, uncommon, rare, very rare, and legendary. So you're going to establish a lifestyle for your bastion. If you want to trade to gain items, if you want to create magic items or craft equipment, you have to be maintaining a lifestyle equal to the rank of the item that you want to create. So if I want to make a legendary magic item, I have to be sustaining an aristocratic lifestyle, because legendary magic items cost 200,000 gold to create. If you don't have that lifestyle, you could always just permanently chuck bastion points, because bastion points have a certain gold value at each rank. So if you don't have the lifestyle you need, but you have additional bastion points laying around as resources, you can sell off those resources to create your magic item, exchanging points for points for gear, essentially. But if you are if you are able to maintain an aristocratic lifestyle, you can create anything. If all you have is a modest lifestyle, you can create uncommon level magic item, uncommon rarity magic items. That's your cap. You can't go beyond that. But in trade, and then you can do that for empowering, and you can do that for crafting items, because you can make one a hammerhead ship in Spelljammer is 80,000 gold. So that puts it at the legendary magic item level of difficulty of creating, which would be you'd have to have an aristocratic lifestyle to be able to commission creating a Spelljammer ship. That's just how it goes. But because that's just a normal crafting, or you could commission 10 gold pieces per sword. You could acquire for the same amount, 20,000 swords. So if you have an army of 20,000 soldiers, you would be able to accommodate 20,000 swords as a trade deal if you have an aristocratic lifestyle. If you only have a wealthy lifestyle, you could only get up to 4,000 swords, because wealthy caps at 40k. 4k here for comfortable, and then it's 1,000 and it's 100. Gold pieces. So the scale drops down, and non-ironically, a first rank bastion point is worth 100 gold pieces. A second rank bastion point is worth 1,000 gold pieces. A third rank bastion point is worth 10,000 gold pieces. A fourth rank bastion point is worth 100,000 gold pieces, and an aristocratic bastion point 5th rank is actually worth 1,000,000 gold pieces. So you could. It takes time. The higher the rank of bastion point that you're auctioning or selling off, the longer it takes for you to be able to find someone to absorb that money. So if I wanted to convert a 5th rank bastion point into gold, it would take me a season to do it, 3 months. And so that's basically an order of that's basically a one of the tasks that's now permanently wiped off of your character's bastion until you can complete the task. And if it's going to take a whole season, that's literally 13. Yeah, that's 13. That's 13 bastion turns. That's 13 adventures from now. You'll be able to fill off that resource. It's you don't burn. You could burn a lower value quicker. You would be able to, in a month, you'd be able to sell as an aristocratic organization or a 5th rank bastion, you'd be able to sell off a 4th rank worth 100,000 gold. You'd be able to sell that off, I think, in a month. So I think it's season, month, week. Yeah, 1 week, 1 week, 1 month, 1 month, 1 season. I think that's how it flows. So you can't get gold quickly, but you can get gold. And we talked about this a number of times before. Once you get past 2nd rank of a bastion, the gold value becomes meaningless. You can't, that's once you get around 9th level, why are you getting gold? Well, it's because you want to afford bastion points, but the amount of gold you need for bastion points is easier to adventure for bastion points, for resources and favors and serfs that are assigned to you, or you gain land. These are how bastion points are converted. So it makes so much more sense at these higher levels of play. In this Dominion style of running your own settlement, is you gain these points to invest in creating different resources. Sometimes it'll be a specific thing that you get. You now get a laboratory, or it could be just you gain 1 point to invest into whatever it is, more land or a building, whatever it is you want to do with them. So that's the idea. So, but for trade, when you use trade, that is, I think when you make a trade roll, the result, I want trade to erode your lifestyle. So if you trade to get a legendary magic item, that's 5th rank. That is literally going to knock your bastion down 5 tiers. So, and each tier is 5 points apart. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So if I were to Let's see. So if I had a minus 30 on my die roll, and I'm going to have a d20 plus 5 plus 12, I get at best have a 37, which means I would get knocked down to a squalor worth lifestyle. That doesn't seem to make sense to me. So I'm trying to think. Oh ho ho. That's what we do. Okay, so there's 5 dice that you get: d12, d10, d8, d6, d4. When you make a trade roll, it's hold on. Yeah. Okay. So to be able to requisite 5th rank stuff, you have to be 5th rank, which means that you're using a d12 already. For each, so when you issue a trade order, you have to be able to issue a trade order. You have to be of your lifestyle has to be of a corresponding rank, just like with crafting above. The difference here is you will then re-roll your lifestyle based on the and you'll erode your die based on the level of magic item that you're creating. So if I am a 5th rank organization or 5th rank bastion, and I want to create a legend, and I want to purchase a legendary magic item, it's going to take me it's going to take me a season to find it, and during that time, I'm going to erode my bastion die 5 ranks. So it goes from D12 to D10, D8, D6, D4, 0. So I'm taking away my bastion die in my lifestyle for as long as I'm maintaining that task. And so I would then have a D20 plus 5, and I have to hit at least a 10 or I start going bankrupt. So if I'm going to attempt to commission expensive shit, I could bankrupt myself in the process of doing it. I really, really like that. All right, so that's how that's going to work. That makes sense. So you set up you have your lifestyle. As soon as you trade for something, I'm thinking through like because you could commission multiple items, and how would that continue to degrade your ability? So I'm thinking if it's your maximum rank that you're attempting, then that will fatigue your die. I think that makes sense. So like if I have a 5th rank guild, Bastion, and if I limit myself to making uncommon magic, very rare magic items instead of legendary magic items, then I can keep my lifestyle. I only have to worry about rolling my lifestyle if I'm doing my max, because it's strength. That's the maximum capability that I have for stuff. Does that make sense? There's something in here. That's not quite it, but there's something inside here. So that's what we're sussing out today. These are the kind of things that we're playing with mechanically to make these orders operate smoothly. So let's see. I'm going to make the trade order, and we're going to have a D12 at first, and we're going to roll that, and then Okay, what I could do, if I wanted to make this more mechanically complicated, what I could do is every time I issue the same order, it degrades the quality of Bastion die that I use. So if I am 5th rank and I issue one order to craft something, then I will roll a d12 plus 5, d20 plus 5 plus d12. And then if I issue another crafting order inside that same turn, that one is going to be d20 plus 5 plus d10. And so if I go through 5 orders, I am now using just a d20 plus 5. But I only get 6 orders per Bastion turn at 5th rank, unless I spend Bastion points to purchase more, which I get back at the end of my Bastion turn. But I'm basically investing additional resources to be able to issue additional orders. So I kind of like that rule. If I'm going to issue 3 crafting orders to my facility, I don't have multiple crafting. I might not have multiple crafting facilities to accommodate that, but I could still theoretically put in a bunch of orders. Either that, or I'm only able to issue 1 order per facility per turn. And I don't think I like that. I like the idea of being able to be flexible with these things. So I think the best way to do that is every time you issue an additional order, you reduce the die until you get down to just d20 plus your Bastion rank. Once you get to that point, then that's as bad as it gets. But then it's just the number of orders that you can possibly issue is going to set a cap on how often you're going to do that. So I think that's fine. I think that actually works. So let's add that in. So we're going to go back up top here. We're going to actually start working on orders. So let's go all the way to the front end of orders. We got a lot of words. We're talking about orders up here. Bastions, Bastion points. 100 points each until you get to 10 is 1,000 points. That's 1,000 points each until you get to 3rd, and then that's 20 points. Once you get to 20 points, they're 10,000 each. And then once you get to 30 points, they're 100,000 each. And then when you get to 40 points, they're 1,000,000 points each. It's a little weird the way that stacks, but the math adds up on an incremental basis. So that's actually how the numbers need to work. I'm more of a 1, 21, 1, 11, 21, 31, 41 kind of guy. But for the gold pieces to literally work out perfectly, I have to have it go from 1 to 9, and then 10 fulfills the extra 0 added into the 100, and that becomes the first step of 1,000. Like, that's really elegant physics there. I really like that. So it's so smooth. That has to be the way that it is. So there you go. Bastions. Bastions are expanded to be available at 1st level. 5 ranks of Bastion. Bastions can receive a number of orders equal to rank plus 1. Each order requires a d20 test to determine how well the order is carried out. Bastions gain points, gain Bastion points that can be spent to maintain facilities. To maintain facilities and spend in its operation. Facilities increase the bonuses. When making a d20 test, and provides additional benefits. Hey, Francois, how you doing, guy? The more resources a Bastion gains, the higher rank it becomes. Resources can be purchased with gold, awarded during an adventure, or acquired as an order. Let's do it like that. Let's take that away by a point. Let's go here. There. All right, that fits. Let's see. We're figuring out orders today. So we're codifying. I just went on an exploration rant about how crafting and trading for items fatigues your lifestyle. And then we figured out if I'm going to issue the same order over and over again to the same bastion during the same turn, it's going to erode the size of the die that you use. So if you're 5th ranked, the first order to trade is going to use a D12. The second order to trade in the same turn is going to use a D10 and then a D8 and then a D6. And before long, it's like you can't hit your top marks anymore. So you stack your dice in the order of acquisition. And of course, when you issue an order to trade and it takes a season to acquire it, you've permanently tied up that order. But you get your bastion. Oh no, actually, it should be the number of orders that are active at a time leaves your die fatigued. So if I'm a 1st ranked bastion and I've got an order in for like some more iron ingots so I can make armor that got commissioned or whatever. And it takes a week for me. I won't get the materials until next week. Then my trade order has effectively been dropped to 0 for now. But if it's going to take, say, 2 months for me to get the material, then that trade order is going to reduce my bastion die for 8 turns. So most of the facility stuff that the characters benefit from can be resolved in 1 turn or a week. Building stuff, creating magic items, or finding or creating trade orders to find those things with other organizations, that takes time. So, and I guess you could always fast forward. It's like, yeah, I want that thing, let's fast forward. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't be able to fast forward turns if you wanted to, if the team really wanted to skip forward on turns. The general nature of the campaign is to run on a weekly basis to feel the effects of those turns, so that you aren't just doing accounting and abacus. You're actually running your facility on a weekly basis and dealing with the complications that arise, because it is supposed to be a progressively generated campaign built on the rhythm of 1 turn every week is how the entire campaign proceeds. But I guess there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to allow skipping turns to fast forward to completing something like you might like with Civ or whatever. I think it would be allowable. I don't think it's the ideal way to do it, but if you're just using the Bastion as a background mechanic to theme around your character's adventuring, then you don't necessarily need to go through 16 iterations of different types of encounters that are happening, because you don't want that depth. Hey, what's up? Woof. Is that duration random on a die or a die modifier? The duration of things are always a set time. Depending on the rank of the task, it's going to take longer to perform. So, like, if you want to make a legendary magic item, that takes longer than a potion of healing. It's just the nature of the item, but it's still a hell of a lot faster than what the Dungeon Master. Like, making a legendary magic item in the Dungeon Master's Guide is like a year. For us, it's a season. So, a common magic item takes a week to make, as opposed to like 15 days. So it's different. Our system's faster, and the DM could always decide to make them go faster. But the whole system's keyed around weeks, months, seasons, and days, weeks, months, and seasons are basically the 4 scales of time that we use. Well, you spoke about iron ore being anywhere between a week and 2 months. It just depends on how much you need. So if you only need 1 suit of armor, you can get that within a week. But if you need to make like 30 suits of full plate for your cavalry that you just hired, yeah, that might take a season to get done. So it just depends on the scale of what you're working on. Like, if I want to build a rowboat, I can probably do that in a day. But if I want to build a hammerhead spelljamming craft, Spelljammer vessel that's 250 feet long and has all this interior cabin stuff and blah blah blah, that's gonna take me a season to make that. That's realistic, unless I have a demi-plane that's large enough for me to park a Spelljammer ship inside of, and then I can build it inside of there in a month instead of a season. And then I just open up the interdimensional cargo bay doors, and the ship rolls out into the astral sea and then just flies away, right? So, and then if we had a guild on top of it to be able to help reduce the timeline, we could get that spelljamming ship with incredibly capable hands in a time dilation center. I could get it all the way down to a week, and I'll be able to kick that ship out for you. But that's like 5th rank stuff, right? So, but to be able to create an 80,000 gold piece Spelljammer ship, you have to be a 5th rank organization already. So these time scales actually all mesh in with the size of the task that you're attempting to perform. So that's the idea anyway. If your characters want a hammerhead ship, you can't. Your bastion just can't produce it. Unless you're 5th rank, your bastion just isn't skilled enough to produce it. And you can't trade for it, but you could potentially make an adventure out of your team setting up the trade agreement if it outscales. Like if your DM decides it's okay for your characters to have a legendary magic item at 5th level, the Bastion isn't going to give it to them. That's going to be a special quest because a legendary magic item far outstrips the level of the characters that are going to be acquiring it. That becomes an out-of-scale acquisition that is reaching beyond the scope of your campaign currently using the normal power curve of D&D, TM. So your Bastion can't ever outperform the tier of gameplay that the characters are in, so that the characters can always outperform the Bastion if they take a personal hand in it. So the Bastion system, whether it's a campaign or just a background thing, is always secondary to what the characters are actually capable of doing, which is why the characters are the leaders and the fixers of the Bastion, as just basically the base mechanics of it. So, but you got me monologuing again there. So we're going to drill through all this stuff. There is patterns that we've established through the facilities for each of the orders that we can give. And I'm going to jump here and I'm going to drag down here to the facilities so we can look at the scaffolding of these things. Like research, this is a common research structure that we see. Let's go to the maintain order for, let's see, you can increase the maintain order, auction a bastion, point, turn gold. Like this is a unique thing that you can do. So I'm probably going to leave this here as a unique order for the auction house. Here is the character's specific non or magical items they wish to acquire, the DC and duration to find and close the auction is determined by the rarity of the item. Or you can commission a specific item to determine how long it takes and the difficulty, or you could just randomly roll to see what's available. And if the amount of time and the level of duration is acceptable to you, then you accept that as the exchange cost. But these all have patterns of the barracks order to assemble troops and the order to harvest undead is the same. If once your crypt is large enough to be able to raise 400 skeletal warriors, what you're looking at is a pretty damn big graveyard, which is land, which is a settlement. Same thing with having 400 troops. You don't just shove those guys into a dormitory and just forget about them like they're in a closet. They need room to operate, to perform training, to have space just to move around. So you have to have a small settlement. So these things are it's just the crypt would be like a graveyard. With the barracks, it's basically like a training ground. So, but these are a consistent pattern. Let's see if we go down to the menagerie. Do we have a similar pattern in the menagerie? Orders, rank. No, because these aren't individual levels, but this is the same as recruiting any other sidekick. Bastion rank and sets the limit to what kind of creature size you can recruit, the difficulty to do it, and they can't. Their CR, the monster can't outrank the level of the characters. So even if your Bastion is capable of summoning or retaining a CR5 creature, unless your character's a level 5 to 8, they can't use that creature for like a sidekick or going on adventures or using it for anything other than just a specialist inside of their Bastion. So this is a consistent pattern that we see throughout the book. Character levels for creating charm, that's a consistent pattern. Research information, that is a consistent pattern. Just it's the specific facility that dictates what type of information can be gained with this, so we can potentially reduce this. Yeah, again, another recruiting order is the exact same pattern, except it's just different types of creatures that are recruited in a planar gate than they would be through the menagerie. But these are consistent. Here's another research of gathering information from the community around you about what's going on in Rumor Mill. Same pattern, but a different target. So we can establish up top what are the patterns that you see, and then we can say use this pattern to discover this target. And then we can get rid of this, like we won't need this table in the pub. If we just the number of questions you ask, can ask the topic, like make a bastion. Like I don't need to have this language, make a bastion check, blah, blah, blah. You can issue the research order to observe conversations and overhear rumors about recent events, local items, and locations or NPCs. There. And that's all we need, because when we go up top and we look at research again, it explains when you're doing a research check, you make a bastion check. The result of the roll determines the number of questions that you can ask, and the DM has to answer truthfully. Here's your table. That's what research does, and it's done. So these are the patterns that we've been building into the facilities that we can extract. And whenever something breaks the pattern, we leave that description with the facility, just like you would with a spell or a feat, for instance. So that's the idea. So that's what we're going to be working on now. We're going to use, let's see, I need 3 documents. I need the pub, or rather I need the facilities section here. I need the orders that are issued here. And then I need the last, on a separate tab, I need the document that we're actually going to start doing work with. So this will be I mean, they're all the same document. So we will see changes happening here as we will here. But this is where we make the changes, and then we adjust our position in the document from there. So like if I'm positioned here in the document, and I go over here, right, that would be here. So if I do this here, see, it's moving the cursor. No, it didn't move the wheel. Oh, I thought I was going to scroll with it, but alas, I'm wrong. Anyway, okay, let's get back to it. So issuing orders. Enough whinging. I think we're set. Hey, actually, that wasn't bad. Yeah, it's a 42-minute rant. That's about typical. Issuing orders. Issuing orders. Okay, let's not there. So when an order is issued to a hireling to the hirelings of a bastion, make a bastion check. When an order is issued to the hirelings of facilities in a bastion, issued to the, I guess it is technically hirelings. No, but they're actually issued to the facility. So when an order is issued to the facility, to a facility in the bastion, make a bastion check test. Actually, when an order is issued to a bastion, make a bastion check, because we don't care if it's being issued to a specific facility. You just have to have the facility to issue the order to the bastion. The bastion, as an organization, then taps that facility to implement to carry out the order. The DC is determined by the difficulty of the order, as detailed below. Bastion test. This is the correct order. When in an issue, you make a bastion test. Bastion test is DC. This is actually here. 1d20 plus rank of bastion plus bastion die. The DC is determined by the difficulty of the order, as detailed below. There are 7 types of orders. Bastion points are spent to increase the rank of each order. By improving facilities as detailed below. The rank of an order can be equal to or less than the rank of the bastion. The rank of an order determines the size of the bastion. The rank. No, that's not right. The rank. The rank. Let's see. The number of points spent to let's combine that. Bastion points are spent to increase the rank of each order by improving facilities as detailed below. Bastion points are spent to increase the rank of each order by improving facilities as detailed below. The rank of the order determines the size of the die rolled when making a bastion test. The rank of an order can be equal to or less. The rank of an order cannot exceed the rank of the bastion. If a bastion has 0 ranks in an order, the D20 test is D20 plus rank of bastion. A character can receive help from the bastion by issuing an order. Yeah, okay, that's a separate thing. That's a meta thing that we have down here. Actually, let's flip, go down here. So we have a meta point usage after maintain. And I think it's already mentioned down here. Meta points. Additional orders. Meta points. Spend points to improve facilities. Aid character. There it is. If an order is issued while a character is at the bastion, instead of making a bastion check, the character can spend downtime activity to make an ability check, adding the bastion die to the result. You regain these points at the beginning of your next bastion turn. There. So there's that. That's where that belongs. Let's go back up top here. Let's see. Each for every when if the same order is issued more than once per turn, subsequent bastion tests use a lower bastion die, reducing the size by 1 for each additional order to a minimum of 1d20 plus rank. For example, this warrants an example. For example, a 5th rank bastion with a D12 bastion die when issuing the trade order. I can still hear myself a little bit more than one. Hey, what's up? Yeah, there you go. See, it happens. For example, a 5th rank bastion with a D12 bastion die with a for the trade order. A 5th rank. Let's do it like this: a bastion with 5 ranks of trade can issue that issues 6 trade orders in the same turn. The first rolls a 1d12. The second order, the first order rolls a d12 bastion die. The second order rolls a d10. Third rolls a d8. Fourth rolls a d4. Second, the third, the fourth. Fifth rolls a d4. The sixth order rolls 1d20 plus 5. 1d20 plus d4 plus 5. Let's just be super redundant, shan't we? Rolls 1d20 plus d6 plus 5. I think it's on my timer. Rolls 1d20 plus 1d8 plus 5. 1d20 plus 1d10 plus 5. 1d20 plus 1d12 plus 5. There you go. There are 7 types of orders described below. When an order is issued to a bastion, make a bastion test, which is a d20 plus rank of bastion plus bastion die. The DC is determined by the difficulty of the order as detailed below. Bastion points are spent to increase the rank of each order by improving facilities as detailed below. The rank of the order determines the size of the bastion die rolled when making a bastion test. The rank of an order cannot exceed the rank of the bastion. If a bastion has 0 ranks in an order, the d20 test is the bastion test is 1d20 plus rank of bastion. If the same order is issued more than once per turn, subsequent bastion tests that additional bastion tests, additional orders roll a lower bastion die, reducing the size by 1 for each additional order to a minimum of 1d20 plus rank. For example, a bastion with 5 ranks of trade that issues 6 trade orders in the same turn. Let's do it proper because I like how that's structured. Plus 5. Nope. Plus 5. 5. 5. 5. There, smooth structure. Okay, List of orders. We already have that set. Orders are issued to the hirelings of the Bastion to carry out. Divided in seven. There are list of orders. There are 7 orders. Be issued to a bastion. There are 7 orders. There are 7 types. There are 7 types of orders that can be issued to a bastion. Craft. Your bastion has a resource. Craft. Creating non-magical items. Empower. Harvest. Maintain. Recruit. Research. Trade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. Empower. Creating magical items and creating magical items and imbuing. Sort of characters. Creating magical items and buffing characters. We'll just do that for now. It's horrible. Harvest. Gather materials for creating or magical items. Maintain is to sustain a lifestyle. Defend the bastion and maintain. Defend the bastion and establish a level. Establish a lifestyle for the bastion, for it and its hirelings. For non and magical items, that and is important. Recruit is to I don't know. How does the DMG word it? Maybe the DMG makes it easy on us. Nope. Hirelings recruit creatures. Self-referencing itself. That's very clever. I mean, it is efficient. Research. Hirelings gather information. That's probably the way that we should frame it. Trade. Hirelings hirelings trade goods and services for non and magical items. Goods and services for bastion points and non and magical items. There we go. Recruit is hirelings recruit monsters, and NPCs as hirelings, specialists, and sidekicks. Maintain. Hirelings defend the bastion. Hirelings defend the bastion and establish a lifestyle. And establish a minimum and establish the lifestyle. Hirelings defend the bastion and establish their level of lifestyle. There we go. Hirelings gather materials for creating non and magical items. Hirelings create magical items and empower characters. We've already established that self-referencing yourself in the description as the title is fine. And then hirelings create non-magical items. There are 7 types of orders that can be issued to the hirelings within a bastion. So far, so good. So now we're on crafting. So let's see if we can make this happen. Craft. Your bastion has the resources and skilled hirelings to craft items independently or to assist characters. Your bastion has the resources and skilled hirelings to craft items. If the required material, if the bastion possesses an appropriate facility and materials to do so. Let's see. Now we can establish a scaffold for craft. Let's just go down to craft. Craft. Copy. See appendix 1 below for the list of see the appendix, see the list, see the item list, see the items list, see appendix 1 items list, see appendix 1 item list below to determine which facilities can create each item and what type of material is required to do so. This is probably something we should put after, like that. Your bastion has the resources and skilled hirelings to craft items, to craft non-magical items. If the bastion possesses, if the bastion Your bastion has the resources and skilled hirelings to craft. You can order the hirelings of your bastion to create non-magical items up to the rank of craft gained by the bastion. You can order the hirelings of your bastion to create non-magical items up to the rank. To create non-magical items. There it is. The value of the item, of the items crafted, cannot exceed the rank of craft gained by the bastion. Your bastion has the resources. I don't need that anymore. As listed below. Which facilities can you can order the hirelings of your bastion to create if the test fails, a complication preventing the completion, a complication occurs that prevents the order from being carried out. As detailed in the complications section below. The events in the Bastion events and complications below. You can order the hirelings of your Bastion to create non-magical items. The value of the items cannot, items crafted, the value of the items cannot exceed the rank of craft gained by the Bastion as listed below. There's no rarity. Non-magical items only have value. But these costs correspond with the cost of magic items. That might not be necessary. I mean, because you might have to craft something that's more than 200,000 gold. I don't want to just say, you know, it's 200,000 gold's your cap. That just doesn't make sense. Let's see. Rank, value, DC, level. Put an asterisk next to that. Asterisk. If the value of item exceeds 200,000 gold pieces, the creating the item is divided into season into a number of seasons to complete equal to the if the value of item exceeds 200,000, the creating the item, the time to create the item is multiplied. Exceeds 200, that's not the right word. To create, the time to create the item is divided the number of seasons required to create the item if the value of items created, if the value of items exceeds 200,000 gold pieces, the number of seasons required to create them is divided into a number of seasons. Is divided $200,000 GP per season. Round up. If the test fails, a complication occurs that prevents the characters from carrying out the order. See Appendix 1, item list below, to determine which facilities can create each item and what type of materials is required to do so. There you go. That's pretty efficient. Let's see. I do need to add additional notes. You can order the hirelings of your bastion to create non-magical items. The value of the items, you can order the hirelings of your bastion to create non-magical, one type of non-magical item per order. Per order issued. You can order of your bastion. You can order the hirelings of your bastion to create one type of non-magical item per order issued. The value of the item the total value of items created cannot exceed the rank of the craft, cannot exceed the value of the item, cannot exceed the rank of craft gained by the bastion as listed below. For example, a hammerhead spelljamming vessel is valued. Let's do it this way. For example, a fleet of 10 hammerhead spelljamming vessels is valued at 800,000 gold pieces. A bastion with 5 ranks of craft order can produce can create the fleet in 4 seasons, assuming sufficient material and assuming the appropriate the Bastion has the appropriate facilities and material to do so. Requiring making a new Bastion test each season to produce to create them without making a new Bastion test each season to determine if any complications arise. For example, a hammerhead spelljamming vessel has a value of 80,000 GP. A Bastion with 5 ranks of craft can create 1 or 2 vessels in 1 season. A fleet of 10 hammerhead spelljamming vessels is valid. A Bastion with 5 ranks can create 1 or 2 vessels in 1 season, while a fleet of 10 hammerhead spelljamming vessels is valued at 800,000 gold pieces, comma, requiring four seasons to complete, assuming the Bastion has the appropriate facility and materials to do so, making a new Bastion check each season to determine if any complications arise. There, so that's crafting. If the test fails, a complication occurs that prevents the order from being carried out, as detailed in the Bastion events and complications section below. See Appendix 1, item list below. Oh, I don't need to do that. I can take that and just add it to the rules of orders in general. That makes more sense. Let's cut that, paste, and look at that. All right, so there. Bastion points are spent to increase the rank of each order by improving facilities. The rank of the order determines the size. This is probably not the right order to have these things in the right sequence of this information. But we'll hire an editor to smart our way through that. List of orders. There are 7 types of orders that can be issued. Bump. And then craft. You can order the hirelings of your Bastion to create one type of magic items. For example, another example. A first rank Bastion can craft. Another example, a long sword is valued at 10 gold pieces. A first rank Bastion can create 10 in 1 week with DC 10 1 week with DC 15. Get under control here, mouse. 1, 2, 3. 3. A second rank Bastion can create. A third rank Bastion can create 400 swords in 1 month with DC 20. A fourth rank Bastion can create 1,000 swords in 1 month with DC 25. A fifth rank Bastion can create 40,000, swords in 1 season with DC 30. I don't need a level. Week, month, season. Good. I'm gonna take a sip. Power 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16. Let's grab this, copy paste, that's nice. Empower. To create magical items. Let's take this to 14. To create one magical item per order issued. The rarity of the item cannot exceed the rank of Empower gained by the Bastion as listed below. Rank. Rarity. Uncommon. Rare. Very rare. Legendary. Duration. Nope. How does it do that? All right. Where am I? Here I am. I gotta create some space. Empower. You can order the higher range of bastions to create magical items, or to empower characters that spend downtime activity in the bastion. So magical items to empower characters or create magical items. Maybe we should do that. Your bastion to create magical items, and then yeah, there we go. Create magic items. That's the order. Create magic items. And then empower characters. Does it? Is there an ability check that goes along with empowering? I don't think there is. I think they just do it. Is there an ability check that goes along with empowering? Oh yeah. Hold on. Yeah, it's downtime, so it doesn't actually spend a turn. You can order the higher tier bastion to create magical items, and characters can spend downtime activity in the bastion to empower themselves with boons. There we go. Create magic items, empower boons. Empower character boons. With boons. Empower characters. That's not really issuing that. Does this belong in orders? Not really. Shit. This is a downtime activity. It's not actually an order that we issued. There's no chance of failure when you're performing downtime activity. But there's a pattern of activity. So does that mean that I leave the downtime redundancy? Let's see how redundant is it. If it's not actually redundant, no, the fucking boons are redundant. Shit. Charms are very redundant. Okay, this got more complicated. Maybe I do leave the full scaffold here after all. And even though it's redundant, maybe we just spell it out for each individual facility. That. But then then we gotta do like all that crafting shit we just did up top. So maybe. I'm trying to think of how I'm supposed to organize this. So like crafting has a pattern, empowering has a pattern. Both types of empowering has a pattern. Research is a pattern. So okay, so like research, I can get away with research. That's pretty straightforward. Jeez. Maybe we do it like this. Order. Create magic items. Downtime. Empower characters. Maybe that's the way to do it. That ain't working. No, that's the way you do it. What time is it? 7:30? Okay. I've got another hour in me. I'm gonna finish in an hour. I'll be done for the day. You can order Hireling to Bastion to gather information. Downtime activity. Empower characters. Characters that spend a Bastion turn. Characters that use the Bastion turn for downtime activity. That spend a Bastion turn in a facility that can empower them gains a boon up to the level of up to a spell level up to the level of spell listed spell characters can spend a Bastion turn in a facility that can empower them to gain a boon the type of boon is determined by the facility, and the level of spell gained is determined by the rank of empower the facility has gained. by the facility crafting the item gained by the facility. There we go. You can order the hirelings of your bastion. The value of the total, the total value of items, the total value of items created cannot exceed the rank of craft gained by the facility creating them. Used to create them as listed below. Can't exceed the rank of craft gained by the facility used as listed below. There we go. Hey, what's up? Hey, Fox. How you doing, guy? We're trying to codify orders, and the complication that I ran into in this process is when I get to the empower order, you issue an order to create magic items, but you spend downtime as a character to gain a boon. But there's other things you can gain other than a boon, and so it's not actually, you're not actually empowering the characters. That's a misnomer. So the problem that I'm having is that I have to where is it? What all has the empower order? Let's count the ways and count the differences among them, so we actually understand what our challenge is. This breaks the normal research rule. Issue the research order to describe a new arcane spell. That doesn't quite match the pattern of researching information, but it does match the pattern of empowering characters with a boon. So that's an exception to the research rule. So we have to spell that out here as not the normal use of research. Let's go find this order for this maintain order for the auction house is I believe unique to this auction house. So it doesn't make sense to just put this up top as like a general order that you can issue. But there's a lot of rule. Like if I start spelling out empower for everything that can empower magic items, that's like a 200 word block of text that I have to repeat over and fucking over again like 15 times. So that doesn't make any sense for the organization of the book. I want to reduce its footprint because it's replicatable. I'm still looking for an empower. Hold on, order, harvest. No, that's harvesting. Like trade, okay, that's really simplified. Gaming hall, trade. If you fail, it's a trade. When you issue the trade order, sacrifice 1 bastion point. If you succeed the bastion test, you gain 2 bastion points permanently. So, that's a unique trade order that isn't replicated anywhere else. But this recruit style, that's a unique recruit structure. But craft and empower is the same as everything else. So maybe I just need to spell out crafting and empowering. Research. There's research for questions. That's I'm gonna. Let's see. Library. Here we go. Finally, down on order. Research. DA. Charm. Oh, is this observatory? No, meditation chamber. Observatory. Research, observatory. Recruit, that's like the third instance of recruiting so far. Pub. Reliquaries for charm. You can issue a harvest order to create a talisman. That's a unique use of harvest, but it still complies with the charm table. Sanctuary, another charm. Oh, maybe I can spell out. Maybe I can charm. Like I could hyperlink charm. And so instead of laying things out as orders specifically. Shit, God, this is a challenge to organize. Craft. You can issue the craft order to create non-magical items. See the list below. Like here, I could have like hyperlink craft, and then you click that, and it takes you to how does crafting work? How does research work? And it can be generally, though, some facilities have exceptions to those rules. So it's complicated, man. It's complicated. Maybe. Thinking my way through the logic. I could go. I could have. Okay, so maybe instead what I do is I list facilities first, and then after facilities I can list facility benefits, and then so when you click on craft, it then drops you down to the craft area, and it says here's crafting, and here's all the different facilities that are capable of performing the craft order. So you can hyperlink back and forth, so you can bounce down to crafting. Like if you're going to drop down to, what was it, Sanctuary? This might be the way to do it. So if we're on Sanctuary, like you can craft, you can issue the craft order to create non-magical items. So then you would click craft, and it will drop you down to facility benefits, and then alphabetically craft, and then craft, and then facilities, and then parentheses facilities, and then hyperlink each one, including Sanctuary. So after you get done reading craft, you can click Sanctuary, and it'll pull you back to the Sanctuary where you just were, so you don't lose your spot. You can cross-reference so you don't lose your spot inside of the PDF document. That, I think, that makes sense. So it should be, so there's okay, so it'd be orders, which would explain generally how issuing orders works. And then facilities. And the facilities tells you what kind of orders you can issue to them. And then when you get done with all the facilities, then it would be facility benefits, and then down there it would say craft. Here's how you craft. But maybe we can have up top orders. Oh, I do like that. Hyperlink items. And then in the item list, we have the list of what facilities can create each item, and then those facilities are hyperlinked. That can take you back to the facilities. So if I click on craft, you can craft order to create non-magical items. If I click there, I can click on non-magical items. That'll take me down to the appendix where the non-magical items are, and then I can have a separate hyperlink for magical items to then click down to and drop down to the magical item list after the non-magical item list down in Appendix 1, or the appendix as it's called. Appendix 2 would probably be like sample bastions. So Appendix 1, items, and then Appendix 2, sample. Maybe Appendix 1 is sample bastions, and then Appendix 2 is list of items and non and magical items. Maybe that's how I structure it. But I think that's okay. I can click on Empower, and that will drop me down to the list, and then I'll see where Sanctuary is listed amongst the items. So I can just click on Sanctuary, and it will take me back up to the Sanctuary facility. So that's self-referential. So I guess like the tagline for research would be gather information, as opposed to research, create spell, or whatever. That's different. Yeah, I think that's the way it's supposed to be. So the order. Each facility. This is why we get paid the big bucks, boyos. Because we put in the thought and the time to make something quality that the inspiration wasn't capable of producing themselves. Not to be a complete cunt about it. Okay, so let's go back to here. I guess we can't really call this. I guess we can't call this facility, because if we're going to call all these things facility benefits, then I can't have the subsection be the same thing as. I either need to create a title for what improvements, benefits, orders, and downtime activity is. What those four categories? What are they? They could be facility benefits, and then that means I need to find a new name for facility benefit, or I leave facility benefits as feat type effects, and then I have to find a category for what these four things are. Maybe we call these Bastion feature. No, I could call this Bastion features. Improvements, Bastion features, downtime activities, orders. Unique. unique orders. Because when you're dealing with a complication, you don't have to have a specific facility. If when you issue a direct, when you issue, it would be a unique order. I think that's the language. Bastion features. The demiplane can be used to house facilities. Yeah, because this demiplane does things beyond the facility. All these features, I think they do things for the Bastion beyond the facility. Once per day, the crypt can target a body. No, that's within the facility specifically. Facility benefits. Facility benefits. So I guess these could be Bastion features. Because Bastion benefits and facility features sounds weird. Facility benefits, Bastion features. Demiplane is a facility. Bastion features. Features, it could just be shit. Yeah, no matter what, it's going to end up being facility. The features of the facility is the traits, properties. Maybe it's Bastion properties. Let's see. Where is it? Let's go with Infernal War Machine. Where are you? There. Stat blocks. Cargo capacity, armor, property, damage threshold. Plans include stat blocks for Infernal War Machines, rules for running and repairing them, and guidelines. Stat blocks. Stat blocks are for 4 samples with the following additional considerations are presented. In Infernal War Machines, statistics function like those for a character with the following additional considerations. Statistics. Facility properties. Facility Bastion. Issuing the maintain order to determine the lifestyle of the Bastion. You can roll. Yeah, this feels like Bastion feature. Bastion. benefits feature facility benefits Bastion feature. Bastion. Perk benefits boon. Can't use boon because characters get boons. Can't use charm. Empower seems redundant. Benefits a good word. Feat. Properties. These are properties. Facility benefits is a property. Maybe so would we call it facility properties? I mean, that's technically accurate. Each facility has a unique set of properties. Each facility has a unique set of properties, which can include improvements, which can include order improvements, facility benefits, downtime activities, and unique orders. There it is. Unique orders. It touches everything. A Bastion facility has a number, has 4 has a Bastion facility. Each Bastion facility has a has unique Bastion facilities have four Bastion facilities have 4 types of properties. Let's see. Order improvements, facility improvements. No, I don't want to call it that. I want to call it facility benefits. Oh, Bastion improvements. Bastion improvements. Each Bastion facility has 4 types. Bastion facilities have 4 types of properties, which Bastion improvements, facility benefits, downtime activities, and unique orders. Boy, these things are tough to do, my guys. That's why we get paid the big bucks. Let's see. Lists the orders. Lists the Bastion orders that can be improved. Lists the Bastion orders. Lists which Bastion orders can be improved by this facility. Facility benefits describe a facility benefits the facility can improve the rank of the listed Bastion orders. By 1 rank per Bastion point. Facility benefits. The facility provides a unique benefit to the Bastion. The facility provides a unique benefit to the Bastion or its hirelings. To the Bastion, its hirelings, or characters. Downtime, yeah. Benefit or action. The facility provides a unique benefit or brain's melting again. What does Crypt do? Let's go look at Crypt again real quick. I think that's actually where we're at. Did we play? No, Crypt. Once per day, the Crypt can craft. Can target a body with divine magic. Okay. The facility provides a unique benefit to the Bastion or those using the facility. Or to those, or can provide a unique this facility provides a unique benefit to the Bastion or to those using, or to creatures using the facility. There we go. Downtime activity. The facility imbues characters with abilities imbue characters with additional abilities when they spend downtime here. Bad language, but there you go. Unique orders. The facility can be issued unique can be issued the facility expands what orders can be issued to the Bastion. The facility can carry out unique orders issued to the Bastion. imbue characters with abilities when they spend downtime in the facility, period. The facility provides a unique benefit to the bastion or to creatures using the facility. When the facility imbues characters with abilities, the facility imbues characters with abilities when they spend downtime in with new. Imbues the characters. The facility imbues characters with abilities when they spend downtime in the facility. When they spend down the facility, when they spend downtime there. There. With new abilities. Yeah. The facility can improve the rank of the listed bastion orders of the listed bastion orders by 1 rank per bastion point. Okay. The facility provides a unique benefit to the bastion or creates so the number of I'm having a conundrum because I'm thinking about point expenditure. It's the same question again, and the question is the rank. So your rank 1 to 5 determines the rarity of magic item that your facility that your bastion can create if they have the right facilities. One way to do it is as long as you have the facility, you can create magic items up to the rank of the bastion. Or the more complicated route is you can create magic items if the facility that makes them is of the appropriate rank. So the difference there is that you can attempt any kind of magic item. No, you still have a paywall. You still have a level wall. You still have a minimum level cap of rank equals levels, rank equals rarity. So if I want to make a magic wand and the facility that would let me do it is the Arcane Study, I'm a 5th rank bastion capable. I'm 5th rank, but I only have 2 ranks in the Arcane Study. So that means even though I can roll a d12 as my bastion die, I'm limited to 2nd rank because none of my facilities are better than that. But I have so much skill overall that I can accomplish yeah, that makes sense. That's the way it needs to be. Okay, sorry. TED Talk. Bastion facilities. Let's lift that out of here before we lose it. Let's take that up to the top here. Bastion facilities. Facility properties. When you spend a bastion point, to create non-magical items. Up to what? Up to the rank of improvement. Issue the craft order to create non-magical items up to in value listed for the number of bastion points spent to improve the craft order of this facility. Issue the craft order to create a non-magical item in the value, the total value of the item up to the value listed for the number of bastion points spent to improve the craft order of this facility. And the total number of points spent on crafting overall dictates the bastion die that you roll up to the rank of the bastion. That's a lot of complexity that's layered in. It's a good system, but it's mechanically dense. I'm concerned about that. I could simplify it and strip away some of the identity. I feel like I need to simplify. Issue the Empower order to create arcane magic items up to the rank, up to the rarity listed for the number of bastion points spent to improve the Empower order of this facility. Okay, so what if when I'm issuing an order, when I issue a unique order, the bastion die you use is corresponds to the number of bastion points that have been number of bastion points that improve the order of that facility, and then when I have a complication, I roll a bastion die equal to the rank of the facility, a rank of the bastion. So a 5th rank bastion can always resolve complications with a D12. Even if, like, say, the crafting order, that the best crafting order you can issue to make something is a D6. I think that makes sense. Okay, so still thinking things through. I like where this is going. This feels easier. When issuing a trade order to obtain materials or non-magical items, you can roll an additional die. When issuing the maintain order to defend the bastion or resolve a complication, to determine the lifestyle of the bastion, adding the highest roll to the result. Barracks resolves complications. What else? Trade order to acquire material or non-magical items. You can roll an additional bastion die. Yeah, this distinct... Yeah, this actually works. That actually works. Okay, so let's distinguish. Let's see. Shit, this is complicated. I'm trying to, like, the sorting it is complicated. When you fail the D20 test of an issue order, roll 1d6 on a table corresponding to the order issued to determine the nature of the complication. The DC of the complication is the same as the order, is the same as the order as the issued order that incurred the complication. Incurred the complication. Let's define incurred. That might be a good word. Define incurred. Become a subject of something unwelcome or unpleasant as a result of one's own behavior or actions. God, what a perfect word. The DC of the complication is the same as the order issued, is the same as the order that incurred the complication. There you go. The DC of the complication is the same as the order that incurred it. When rolling to resolve a complication, make a bastion test. The bastion die added corresponds to the bastion die is determined by the rank of the bastion, not an individual, not a When you issue more than one order to the same facility, you reduce the die. No, this is better. This is all better. when you spend to improve an order available to a facility, you gain access to the corresponding unique feature. To the unique order. When you spend a bastion point to improve an order listed for let's see, bastion improvement, when you spend a BP to improve a facility, choose one of the listed orders. When power and research. Okay, so this improvement, so here's the archives, and the only unique order that you can issue the archives is in power. So that means that we would not have improvements for research, even though the facility benefit is research. Generally, we've been using improvements to just any type of order that makes sense gets improved. But if we're disassociating, like, why would you put points into research here? And this just lets you add a bastion die in general. So I think the idea of I can put 5 points into Empower, I can put 5 points into Research, or I could have only 5 points and then open it up. And that feels, I don't like that. Create a magical item. Do I need to abandon? Is it the rank? Is it the rank of the bastion, or is it the rank of the facility? Can be obtained this way, determined by the rank of the bastion. Yeah, it shouldn't be facility specific. It should just be bastion overall. Yeah, it shouldn't be facility specific. The bastion die is determined by the rank of the bastion. Hey, Fox. Rank and facility need to be factored in. You think it matters? Like if you only have a first rank scriptorum, you shouldn't be able to create a higher than like a first level spell. And if you have a fifth, like a third rank scriptorum, then you'd be able to create a 0, 1, 2, 3, fourth or fifth level scroll. You think that's important because the Bastion itself could reflect your overall like quote unquote level, and you just simply have to have a scriptorum. And then the Bastion level determines how powerful the item is that you can create. As long as you have so you could have it be, you have to make sure your facility is of the proper rank to create the corresponding magic item rarity. Or you have to have the Bastion be of a corresponding rank to create a magic item. But you don't specifically have to have your Arcane Study ranked up. Like, if you want to make a magic wand, you have to have a third rank Bastion, regardless of how many points you've put into your Arcane Study. The simple fact that you have an Arcane Study is sufficient if your Bastion is high enough level. The alternative then, and thanks a lot for your input, by the way. The alternative here is, I have a third rank Bastion. I can put up to 3 points into my Arcane Study. But if I've only put 1 point into my Arcane Study, I can only create common magic items because the Arcane Study itself is not isn't of sufficient rank to be able to create those items. So that would mean that that could work. And then there's the added layer of which type of Bastion die do I use? A D4, because I only have 1 rank of Arcane Study, or do I roll a D8 because I'm third rank as a Bastion? I think the latter is better overall. I think a good solution, I think you're right. I think a good solution would be we'd use the Bastion rank for what die is rolled, but the level of rarity of the magic item is limited by the rank of the unique order to create them. And that's complicated language. Because there's the facilities overall, like the facility, I could have like 5 points put into the facility and it could be split between 2 different tasks, like 2 points here and 1 point here. And neither one of them would be 3, right? So I would have to throttle up my maintain ability to match, like to get the third rank. If my Bastion is third rank, that would be my current cap. But when I get the fourth rank as a Bastion, all of these orders can suddenly start taking Bastion points to improve them. My home table, by the way, just finished their last adventure last week, and this week we did our Bastion turn. So I'll probably spend some time ranting about that tomorrow morning during the Averon art stream. I'm going to see if I can wake up a little early to pack in a little additional rant time for me. But I think it is added level complexity, but I think it does make sense. You have to have... Not a specific rank. The number of points, the number of points that you've put into the facility, regardless of which order it is that you've placed. So, like going back to the Arcane Study, use that as our point of reference here. It has craft and power and research, and it does have unique orders for all 3. So maybe this isn't the best example. Unique orders, but having said that. If I'm third rank, I can take any order up to third rank. If I have 3 points in the Arcane Study, I could put like 1 point into craft, 1 point into empower, and 1 point into research through my Arcane Study. That improves my die for the Bastion as a whole to have 1 better rank in all 3 of those up to its cap. So, like, if I'm a third rank Bastion and I've only put 1 point in craft through the Arcane Study, 1 point of empower through the Arcane Study, and 1 point of research through the Arcane Study, the Arcane Study itself now has 3 points placed into it, even though the Bastion only has 1 of each. So I would, at this point, be rolling a d20 plus 3 plus d4 for crafting, d4 for empower, and d4 for research. But since I'm a third rank bastion, and I have 3 points invested into the arcane study in general, I would actually be able to create rare magic items. But when I attempt it, I'd only be rolling a d20 plus 3 plus d4 until I put more empower and more ranks of empower into my bastion through either this or another facility. Issue research order describing new arcane study. Yeah. That makes sense, but its mechanic it's a little complicated. It's not really complicated, I guess. How many points have you put into this unit? How many points have you put into the research order here? I put 3 points in. Okay, well you can now create up to level 5 magic scrolls. That actually does make sense. What rank of a bastion are you? I'm third rank bastion. Okay, well you can roll a d8 plus d20 plus 3. That's okay, so that's double dipping. I feel like if we do that, we can strip away improvements altogether. So the idea there would then be whatever bastion level you are, you automatically use that rank of bastion die for everything that you're doing. And the bottleneck is how many bastion points have you put into the arcane study, period. I no longer have to worry about breaking up the points. I automatically level up my bastion die for everything when I gain a rank in my bastion. That's very simple. And then the only point of throttle is up to the rank of my bastion, how many bastion points have I put into my arcane study? Oh my god, that is a lot simpler. That is a lot simpler. The die acquisition is automatic, so I don't have to think about that anymore. When I put at least 1 point into this, like for here for the archive, as long as I put at least 1 point into the archive, I'm gaining a bonus on the research order. And now, when I issue the empower order, you can use the empower order to create magical items. We already know from the general creation tables what level of rarity I can create based on the number of points I've put into the archive. That actually does make sense. And it's also very simple. Fox, I appreciate you helping me think through that, because challenging the system improves the system. Challenging the system improves the system. Foxtrot element. No, I was in a different paradigm until you pushed me on that. I was making a decision. You're like, no, you really should need to take the amount of points you put into your facility to determine how powerful of a thing you can make. And that makes perfect sense. But until then, I hadn't actually glommed onto that as the correct idea. You just asked an innocent question, and it made me take the question seriously, to step out of my own paradigm for a moment, to see what actually makes the system work best. And now we have a different paradigm that's much easier to function inside of. So it's incredibly easy, without being overcomplicated, but still having enough mechanical crunch that decisions matter. You want decisions to matter without necessarily having a right or wrong answer. But now we can look at what's the minimum level to gain a facility. If a facility gives you an extra bastion die on a die roll, that probably means it needs to be second or higher rank. So you don't get it right off. Well, maybe you can get it right off the cuff. We should analyze that. What time is it? It's 8:30. I've got 20 some odd minutes left. So let's we're going till 9 o'clock. So let's do that. But if you don't mind, I'm going to include you in the credits for assists and help in the creation of the book. People that are credited generally get a free copy. So you can always buy a copy if you want, but you're going to get a free copy. Okay, so let's go back through here. Let's where do we want to take this to? List of orders. To the same facility, additional orders roll. Yeah. If the same order is issued more than once per turn to the same facility, if the same if a facility is issued more than one order per turn, the additional orders roll the Bastion test with a lower die, reducing the size by 1 for each additional order. To a minimum of D20 plus rank. For example, a Bastion, for example, a 5th rank Bastion that issues the trade order to the same facility 6 times in the same turn has diminishing bonus, has a diminishing Bastion die with each subsequent order. First order. And when you're dealing with a complication doesn't use any specific facilities. Complications resolving a complication requires a separate order, but is not issued to a specific facility and always uses the maximum maximum size die for the Bastion. I like that. I think that works. Okay, so now we don't have to worry about. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy. I'm going to copy this entire document now, so I don't have any regrets. So. Blech. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Come on, buddy. There you go. All right, and then we're going to File, Save As, Browse, in Command, Bastion Campaign. Bastion Campaign 2025-03-17. Hey, thanks. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I have no idea if I'm wearing green or not. I don't know if I am or not. I guess I'll do an RGB check later. This might be a green shirt. I don't know. Okay, so we've just copied and saved that entire document, which means I can now afford to what? Why is this all highlighted? Thank you. That was goofy. Okay, so we've simplified things so that whenever we gain a rank in the Bastion, we automatically use a larger die. We can issue any order, and it's always going to be using the maximum die of the Bastion. But we issue the order if it's a unique order to a Bastion, like attacking is not a specific facility. It's just the Bastion and whole attacks. The Bastion as a whole defends. So that always uses the Bastion die. It's unlimited. Hey, what's up? I found out I was not wearing green when my kids started pinching. Right on. Happy Beard Day to you too, my man. That's fucking fantastic. Oh, man. Okay, so, yeah. So, the facility limits, if there's a unique order to the facility, yeah, so that simplifies things. There's now, so using that logic, we're now stripping down the complexity. You're automatically going to use, yeah. So now we don't have to worry about this balance point because it's automatically balanced unto itself. That was unnecessary. These particular orders don't matter per facility because the order is now dictated by the rank of the Bastion. And the facility is just simply buying in. And if a facility doesn't require a certain number of ranks, then just 1 point and you're good to go. So that means that when we look at the facility properties, we can get rid of the improvements. Bastion improvements are no longer necessary. And if I need to get these back for some reason, that's why we save the document, so we can go fetch. I have 3 types of properties: facility benefits, downtime activities, and unique orders. Facility properties. Yeah, this feels right. This feels right. Yeah, see, that's what you helped me find. That's why I appreciate you, sir. In case it wasn't evident. But yeah, that is very streamlined. You don't have to worry about that at all. Who cares? And that takes care of that question I had about, like, is there too many crafting orders? Is there too many empower? Fuck it, who cares? It no longer matters. And that makes it easy for somebody to further improvise creating a unique facility, because you only have to worry about the 3 benefits now instead of figuring out which orders should it improve. It doesn't matter. When issuing, this is second rank guild hall. When issuing a craft order to create a non-magical item, you can roll an additional bastion die, adding the highest roll to the result of the check. So we already know third rank bastion is going to be a D8. This allows us to roll 2 of them. Recruit. You can issue the recruit order to attract a specialist hireling that can improve the bastion die of any one order without increasing the size of your facilities. You gain 1 specialist for each bastion point spent to improve the guild hall, each improving the bastion die of a different order. Up to the rank. No, wait. This doesn't matter anymore. You can issue the recruit order to attract a specialist hireling that can improve the bastion die of any one order. Oh, yeah, without increasing the size of your facilities. Hold on. This feels more like this feels more like a facility benefit now. He's improving the bastion die up to the rank. Gain 1 specialist for each bastion point to improve the guild hall, each improving the bastion die of a different order. You gain 1 specialist for each bastion point spent to improve. Each improving the bastion die. Guild hall is kind of like settlement and government, in that they aren't like their own. Like they modify it. It's like a meta facility, like it's like a meta facility, like it doesn't feel like I would issue an order here. This is basically either because like when you increase the rank of your guild, like when you increase the rank, when you put more points into a facility, it increases in size, and it gets more hirelings to be able to perform higher feats of ability, like higher order skills or whatever, higher rank activities, and the guild hall is replacing that increase. So the guild hall itself gets larger, but the other facilities don't. Is the guild hall and town hall the same thing? There is no town hall anymore. It's just called government, though town hall might make sense. No, it's different. You have to have if you have a there's settlements, governments, and guild halls. A settlement is part of your facility, is part of your bastion, but instead your bastion is now on a plot of land, which is called the settlement. And it's a certain size depending on how many points you put into the settlement. It depends on how large of an area that settlement can occupy. A government is a facility that takes an existing settlement and puts you in command of it. So it basically franchises an existing settlement. Like if you have a bastion and you give it a settlement, that bastion is now on its specific plot of land, and you controlling the bastion itself controls that settlement. If you then go off and find a town and you take over that town, you have to put a government facility into that settlement, so it becomes a secondary location that you can command as a bastion. So there you go. And the size of government needed is dictated by the size of the settlement, while the size of your bastion can dictate the size of the settlement your bastion is built upon. And technically, it's just the bastion itself is the settlement, but once you have a settlement, other bastions that aren't yours or additional bastions that operate independently from your primary bastion can be included in that settlement, if that makes sense. The guild hall gives you specialists that allows you to increase the performance of a facility without having to increase the size of the facility or the number of hirelings in the facility. The guild hall makes the hirelings that exist at the size of the facility that it's in become a higher, perform with a higher bastion die. So it acts at a higher rank than it actually is without having to invest all the resources and manpower in doing so. Your hirelings are more efficient. They're better at their job. So that replaces the added instruments, space, and minimal wage workers needed to make your facility operate. So those are the three meta facilities that exist inside of the system. And that's a very unique perk that the guild hall is providing. So the more points you put into a facility, the larger it's going to become, and the more hirelings it has. It doesn't cost you anything to do this. That's just folded into the lifestyle that you roll for your bastion in general. But it's grinding on my gear about what that does, because the order being issued is to find that person or to train that person to become that specialist hireling. But it's framed like a meta resource that you just automatically acquire by spending the points. You would have to attract them in the first place, and you can't attract a higher ranked guild member than you have of a guild hall, because you can't get a 5th ranked guildsman into your 2nd ranked guild. He's like, I outclass you. You can't utilize my, even if you did hire me, I wouldn't be able. The raw resources needed to do what I need is not available here, even though I have the expertise to do it for you. The bastion itself isn't strong enough to support me, so you can't hire that dude. So the order to recruit them makes sense. Your oven sucks. Exactly. Yeah, I don't need more kilns. I just need a good kiln. So I don't need 500 square meters of glass blowing facility. I just need one good kiln and a decent supply of glass. And then I'll take care of you. Yeah, that's the language. Exactly. So let's see. But how do I structure that order around that? You can issue the recruit order. I am damn near out of time. We're going to continue this on Thursday. Tomorrow morning we're going to do Eberron art, and I'll rant about my own bastion in our Spelljammer Eberron campaign. And then at lunchtime tomorrow, we're going to work on the armor artificer. So yeah, we'll update that. That's our time for the day. We're gonna go ahead and cut it, but I'm still trapped inside this thought. That's our time for the day. We're gonna go ahead and cut it, but I'm still trapped inside this thought. Trade. Recruit. You can issue the trade order to acquire materials or non-magical items. The difficulty is determined by the value of the item. That stands. That's just following normal trade order. I have a balance already among the number of Bastion dice, so I am hesitant to alter that. Though, if I got rid of this recruit thing, something that I could do is, like, no, all of them would be too efficient. When issuing the recruit order, I have to be second ranked to have this facility at all, which automatically puts me at a D6. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like I need to drop the order and instead make it a facility benefit. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like I need to drop the order and instead make it a facility benefit. Maybe it could be something. Maybe it is a facility benefit. And it could be something as simple as when you increase the number of Bastion points put into your facility. Instead, you don't have to increase. You can increase the rank without having to increase the size. You can choose one facility per point spent improving the guild hall. For each point spent improving the guild, for each point spent improving the guild hall, you can choose one facility when you increase when you improve that facility, it doesn't increase in size or number of hirelings. For each when you spend a Bastion point to improve the guild hall, choose one facility in the Bastion, including the guild hall. When you spend a Bastion point to improve the chosen facility, the size of the facility, it gains it doesn't increase in size, period. It doesn't increase in size. The size or number of hirelings doesn't increase. And I no longer need the recruiting for the specialist here. To attract. Yeah, no, we'll drop that. Oops. You spend a bastion point to improve the guild hall. Choose one facility in the bastion, including the guild hall itself. Yeah, including the guild hall. That's the right way of wording it. Including the guild hall. When you spend a bastion point to improve the chosen facility, the size of the facility and number of hirelings don't increase. Instead, the hirelings that are present become become experts in their trade. I think I'm okay with that. The more points you put into a facility, the larger it has to get. Unless you have a guild hall, in which case you're creating a meta that you can have a small place. Normally, you probably wouldn't need a guild hall to be able to do that. But each time you take this, you're making your guild hall bigger instead of the facilities. You're still getting the trade order on top of it, so that's useful. And you are getting the extra craft order to create non-magical items. That is also just a general die, which is useful if you're leaning into this sort of stuff. For each, there it is, for each point spent to improve the guild hall, choose one facility in the bastion, including the guild hall itself. When you spend a bastion point to improve the chosen facility, the size of the facility and number of hirelings don't increase. Instead, the hirelings that are present become experts, become more specialized, become more skilled in their trade. There you go. I like that language. That makes sense. Okay, so let's just make sure I have everything locked down so we can walk away. Let's go back up to the top. It's from the top. Bastions, issuing orders. Let's just drop it in here. Continue orders here. Let's see. Bastion die is automatic. Bastion die for all orders is determined by the rank of the bastion. If a facility has a unique order, the number of bastion points you spend to improve a facility cannot exceed the rank of the bastion. Unique orders issued that can be issued to facilities are limited by the number of bastion points spent improving the facility. Unique orders that can be issued to facilities are limited by the number of bastion points spent improving the facility. Which cannot exceed the rank of the bastion. So far, so good. That does simplify things, but the language still stinks. So I'm going to cut it here. That's my night. I'm hitting save for now for no reason. When we come, again, tomorrow, Eberron art, and I'll probably talk about my Spelljammer Eberron campaign. Lunchtime tomorrow will be Armorer, Artificer revision, just to make sure that we have the language locked down for that. And then Wednesday, we'll do Eberron art, and that'll be it for the day in the morning. Thursday morning, Eberron art. Thursday night, we'll continue with the Bastion campaign like this. Friday morning, Eberron art. Friday lunch, the Alchemist Artificer, and that'll cap off the playtest content 2025 for the Artificer until we see whatever it is that WotC comes out with next for us to riff off of. And then Saturday morning, we have 5th level Martial Powers campaign playtesting. And then we'll roll over to Monday. So, Fox, Francois, anyone else that's out there in the multiverse, thanks a lot for participating. Appreciate you guys being around. If anyone else thought this stuff was cool today, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future, which is often. So, I'll see you guys on the other side. Cheers.